Okay, hello everyone and welcome to another randomised gaming weekday stream, and welcome to the final stream of this week. My name is Random Gamer Riven and I am the editor of Randomised Gaming, and in tonight's stream I am going to be looking at Taito Legends on the PlayStation 2. Now this is an interesting one. There are actually about 7 or 8 different versions of Taito Legends, and you had the original, you had the sequel. However, the Xbox sequel was different to the PS2 sequel because Xbox was done by Empire, and Taito Japan was so appalled by the first PS2 collection they then had their own team do it. And there were also 4 Taito collections released in Japan that featured all these games included on the first 2 Taito Legends in the West, and quite a bit more. But this one's actually a really nice selection, so hello to everyone watching. We do have a lot of games available tonight, so starting off from 1979 we have Lunar Rescue, we have 1980 Balloon Bomber, we have 1980 Crazy Balloon, we have 1981 Quicks, we have 1982 Alpine Ski, we have 1982 Wild Western, we have 1983 Crack and Pop, we have 1983 Frontline, 1985 The Fairyland Story, 1985 Legend of Cage, 1986 Kai Kai Kea Kea, 1988 Curtin Kinton, 1988 Savalion, 1988 Bronze Adventure, 1988 Nastar, 1988 Ramables, 1989 Camel Try, 1989 Dong Doki Don, 1989 Insector X, 1989 Violent Fight, 1990 Football Champ, 1990 Growl, 1990 Gun Frontier, 1990 Liquid Kids, 1990 Super Space Invaders, 1991 Metal Black, 1992 I should say Grid Seek, 1992 Arabian Magic, 1993 Dungeon Magic, 1994 Darius Gaiden, 1994 Elevator Action Returns. I didn't realise Elevator Action Returns was that early. I thought it was 95 or 6. 1994 Space Invaders DX, 1995 Cleopatra Fortune, 1995 Gekirindan, 1995 Puzzle Bobble 2, 1995 Space Invaders 95, 1996 RayStorm, 1997 Purchi Carrot, 1997 G-Darius, and that's your lot. Although I will say this actually is a very good collection. Certainly on the PlayStation and Saturn, if you were to buy these games separately, they will now cost you an arm and a leg. Certainly G-Darius, Pyra Catch, Puzzle Bobble 2, Gekirindan on Saturn's very expensive, Cleopatra Fortunes on Saturn and PS1. Elevator Action Returns is very expensive, although the version on this collection isn't properly emulated. So this version is basically, I believe, based on the MAME ports at the time. So in the case of Elevator Action Returns, it's missing some elements because currently MAME actually has issues. Even to this day, I think they're actually got a bad dump of the arcade game and they're still waiting on a better dump, basically. So you've got like 15 years someone hasn't redumped the proper board, because dumpings, people, it's not common for people. I mean, Liquid Kid as well. So we've got quite a big selection here. Is anyone in the comments of any particular game they want to see tonight? Please do give a shout out. I'll just go through. I did see, so we've got Frontline. Frontline I've actually played relatively recently on the arcades. Story Nest. Camel Tree's actually quite a good one. So, Football Champ as well, especially seeing Gun Frontier's an absolute classic. Liquid Kids, Super Space Invaders. I've always been a fan of Super Space Invaders. RayStorm. So you've got Layer Section and Layer Section 2 effectively, but not Layer Section 3. Was it RayStorm, Ray Crisis? I think Ray Crisis is the third one. RayStorm. Maybe that was only on the Xbox one, the other one. There are 4 games are exclusive to this PS2 Western Collection, and 4 games exclusive to the Japanese. 4 games exclusive to the Xbox One and the PS2, and then the Japanese ones are a totally different set of games. So, without further ado, I will pick Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. I'm going to start with something I picked up about a year or two back. No, yeah, about a year back. No, it's 2 years back now. Camel Tree, which I actually got the SNES version, which is a nice little platformer. So, gives you a nice little background. You can also adjust the settings. Okay, what has happened? Clicked on additional info and it has locked up. Oh, please don't tell me that's crashed. Please don't tell me that's a crash. Okay, don't select additional info. That seems rather buggy. Okay, so they're soft locked, I think. When I mean soft locked, it means the game is locked up, but it hasn't crashed. The music's still playing. Let's just do that for a second. Apologies over that. That's unfortunate. Just to put it back into 60 Hertz. So I'm running. This collection has a 50-60 Hertz option, thankfully. Okay, and let's see, has that... Good, we're still here. There is an intro to this, but it's just a sort of collage, so I was going to skip it. One, because the type of intros you never quite store if they've used some sort of stock music or something. Okay, on with the Camp Tree. So let's not click additional information. Let's just go game start. Here we go, Camel Tree. So you actually have different degrees of courses you can select as you go through the game. Do the training course. This is quite an interesting one because it's actually like a panel rolling game. Now, this collection doesn't support progressive scan, at least certainly not in the PAL version. And well, I did try to force it into progressive scan, but it's actually properly using interlacing, so it's looks pretty ropey. Actually, I should change while I'm here. Put Yelder 2D interlacing on. That should make it look a bit nicer. I don't recall seeing Camel Tree too much in the arcades, but it's actually a very good game. I picked up the SNES version about a year back. I've also picked up the PSP version, which includes a remake of this, I believe. It's quite a nice little puzzle game. There is a big selection of games, so if you do have any preferences, do let me know. As I didn't do the first collection, I could look at the first collection, but I thought I was quite interested to play Operation Wolf, but Operation Wolf's only on the first one, but the emulation on the first collection is a bit hit and miss, to put it mildly. It's quite a lesser known arcade game, but it's actually quite an interesting one. If you like something a bit different, this is definitely well worth a look, Camel Tree. I'll do something like Growl after this as well. Okay, so we go the final trial, the first one. Let's see if it will. This is only training, so this game actually is quite nice. It gives you quite a good start before you actually get into the sort of main difficulty. Taito actually did experiment a lot with some of their early games, and they did some quite interesting ideas that you wouldn't see now as arcade games, sadly. Something like this I couldn't see, but it's actually as being an arcade game these days, but it's a very good game. Certainly fits the arcade format perfectly. Okay, that's the first course cleared on Camel Tree. We've got a selection again, so we'll go through. I'll certainly look at G-Darius and a few of the other ones as well in this collection. It is a very nice collection. G-Darius now has a release on... oh, I see this one. I see whichever course you do. That's quite nice. You've got birds flying in the background. It's definitely a very sort of fun little puzzle game, this one on the collection. They said the collection's got a good mix. Taito strangely didn't actually do too many scrolling beat 'em ups. There's only a few on this one. You have the Dragon Magic one, which isn't too bad. It's got some nice ideas. And then we also have Growl, which I think is probably a better well-known one, partly due to the fact that it got a Mega Drive port. Close. Still at the background, we've gone from above the sky to under the water. I do miss there's some real subtlety with a lot of the games back then that you just miss now. I should try and do something retro myself. I keep meaning to do something games design. Actually, it is my field, and I could definitely do something interesting. Oh, that was a shortcut if I'd smashed those other blocks, wasn't it? Yeah. This was also known as On the Ball as well. Camel Tree. So I must admit, I don't think I ever saw this one in the actual arcade. There were quite a few Taito games you never used to see. Stuff like Operation Wolf and Puzzle Bobble, you used to see all the Puzzle Bobble and Bubble Bobble. You used to see a lot of the time, but stop, start, go. Oh, this is going to be a tricky bit. Yeah, those 5 seconds aren't really worth it, seeing the fact that by the time I've got those 5 seconds, the time it's taken me to get them, spin it around and come back out means I've probably lost. And that was encased and we had to break it out. It's definitely a very interesting game, Camel Tree. It's a solid sort of puzzle game. It's definitely a bit different, so it's not the hardest game, but it's sort of good fun. I think it's meant to be basically one you would play in sections. If you have any suggestions for what you'd like me to show during the course of this stream, please do let me know. As I said, we've got a huge wealth of games available to pick, so... So don't be shy, say hi in the chat. Okay, so that's 2 courses cleared, so I'll jump onto a different game. But that's definitely quite a nice one, Camel Tree. Lived happily ever after, so we've got two marbles. Living happy ever after. Oh, well, that's a nice one. Oh, that's quite nice. You tilt it. Rig? No, I wanted Riv. Oops a daisy. Never mind. So this one game overs you after every course, so you only get a few minutes on it. So I'm going to swap game, return to main. So again, I'll just quickly skim through all the games for those of you who are joining the stream. Appreciate all the likes so far, that's very much appreciated. Appreciate you enjoying our content here at Randomised Gaming. So again, if there's any game in particular you want to see, shout out. I might do Football Champ, seeing it's the Euros tomorrow. Come on, Liquid Kids. I will briefly show Elevator Action Returns towards the end of the stream. Just to show you, because as I previously streamed the Saturn's version. I've got quite a nice selection here. I'm feeling a bit of Growl, unless anyone has any objections. If you would like me to look at something else, please do hit that like button. Or please do just drop a comment. Gun Frontier as well is a very, very good one. Very expensive on Saturn as well. Let's do Growl. Attack, jump. Okay. Press the diagonal button. You charge weapons. Okay, gotta remember that. You can charge weapons in this. So this is a scrolling beat 'em up from Taito. Again, Growl got a home port on the Mega Drive. That's a rare example of a scrolling beat 'em up from Taito, so. Does need to be a touch bit of slowdown. I'm not sure that should be there. A lot of these Taito games have actually been quite heavily updated, certainly on main. And I did believe this collection, this collection's over 14 years old now, and certainly despite the age of the games, even when they were doing this, there was still a lot of things not properly emulated. So. Hi there, Araka. Thanks for joining the stream. Yes, this is another cracking collection, so I'm going to take a selection of games from it. If you have any particular games you'd like to see, please do let me know. Attack, jump. Why do they all have really high... All of them had really high jump, but none of them had good, weak jump. So this is Growl. I've never actually played the Mega Drive port, so it's one of those ones that you think, oh, I'd quite like to see what it's like, but the price of it these days is quite off-putting, and I don't think it's the best scrolling beat-em-up. And yeah, I suspect it's one where the Mega Drive port isn't a patch on the arcade one, as you say, Erica. Now, Taito didn't actually do too many scrolling beat-em-ups. So does your spin kick in this use damage? Oh, you got weapons. This does actually remind me a little bit of Cadillac and Dinosaurs. So I'll see how far I can get at 1 credit. I just realised my guy looks suspiciously like Indiana Jones, to put it mildly. Yeah, we don't actually have any flash drives here at Randomised Gaming at present, so well, it's definitely something I should look at. It's actually quite hard to source a lot of them because they're only in production for so limited periods. So does the super attack reduce your... Music's quite good. Yeah, this guy definitely looks like Indiana Jones. Indy! You can actually hit opponents when they're down as well, which is actually pretty rare. Okay, the collision there was a bit... Plus side, lots of enemies on screen for a relatively early scrolling beat-em-up. As much. Let's try and work out, was this before or after the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? As that's sort of the pinnacle of scrolling beat-em-ups. I must admit, I will confess I've not played Growl too much. This is one of those Taito games I've never played too much. I knew it was a scrolling beat-em-up, but I've just never actually played it that much. So can I do the spin kick indefinitely, or will the game tire me out like a lot of the... Okay, I'm guessing I've destroyed my health doing that. It was not a very generous game on the lives front. But also suited businesswomen, not the best attire to fight in, I'd say. And quite good music. Defeat. Wise the Evil Hunter. So I take it the Mega Drive port of this is worse than Streets of Rage then. Is that all he's going to do now? Run around like a maniac?
Good.
Oh, so Streets of Rage is much better than the Mega Drive port of it, okay. Well, truth be told, I'm never actually a big fan of the original Streets of Rage. I never thought the original was that good. It was only when we got to Bare Knuckle 3 did I think it was... Lots of enemies, a bit of slowdown. I assume that's original. But yeah, my guy definitely says Indiana Jones to me. Yeah, this one doesn't do progressive scan, so it doesn't look quite as neat. It's actually interlaced, which I suppose is truer to the original arcade games, because they'd have all been interlaced.
Big bucks for me.
What do you jerks think you're doing?
It's nice the animals come and help. Yeah, the enemies, it definitely feels like an Indiana Jones clone. God, it even looks... That picture up top there even looks like Harrison Ford. But just different enough not to get the lawyers involved. Unlike Capcom are about to find out in the near future. That is quite amusing with their use of... Yep, we've got the whip. Da 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 da. I just dropped it. Da 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 da. They are actually making a 5th film, I see, of Indiana Jones, which sadly I think is, somebody said they probably should not make a 5th film now. Yeah, it's not the greatest scrolling beat 'em up, I will admit. The environment design's quite nice. The theme is quite nice, the sort of animal rescue. It's weird, we have a sort of mix of villains with guys wearing sort of Arabian outfits, and then we have what I'd describe as British street thugs from sort of the 1930s, or looks a bit of a eclectic mix. And then we have modern day businesswomen. Different characters, yeah, definitely Indiana Jones. I'll give it a few more minutes and then I will change on this one. Ooh. That guy had me pinned. The AI is not very good either, it's very quite relaxed. Should try and knock people into the water. Plus side, lots of enemies, so I'm not the only one going into the water. Quite unforgiving as well. This is a boss fight. Blokes in a Fiero hat. My god, this is John Rhys-Davids' character from Indiana Jones. Sully? It's basically Sully. We've got a match of 6 variants of Sully. This enemy looks like an enemy that will become a standard trooper later on as well, which is one of my personal pet hates with games. A Fez, yeah. This is what happens when you can't get the Indiana Jones license. But it's just different enough so they can't. Backgrounds are quite nice. We've got an elephant to rescue. Yep, I think I'll change game. Not the best game, Growl. It's nice enough. Return to me. So is there any particular game you want to see, Arika? Just out of interest, seeing as you're here, I'll let you see if there's anything in particular you want to see on the collection. Or if you're just here to watch for fun, in which case I'll pick. But if anyone else wants to chip in with their suggestions, please do just drop a message in chat and I'll gladly look at the games. Appreciate all the likes everyone's giving me on stream. Thank you very much here at Randomised Gaming. Always helps our channel. Very much appreciated. So this is actually, I should actually say, the PlayStation 2 version of Taito Legends 2 was released in 2006. It was developed by Mineloader Software. Of course, all the original games were Taito. In Europe, it was published by Empire. But it's sort of under license from Taito Corporation. This is not long, I think this is just before they got bought up by Square Enix. Unfortunately, there isn't that many modern collections. Some of these games are now available on Arcade Archives on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One and Nintendo Switch, so there are a few of them that are available via the Arcade Archives. A couple of the others are also available. Yeah, Elevator Action Returns isn't great on this collection, and I've covered it previously in the stream. I will look at it, but I think I'll have a look at Metal Black first, Arika. To shoot Max Beam. I think one of these collections, was it the Xbox version or one of these versions has the fire button down wrong, as you're supposed to be able to hold it down to adjust it. So this is Gun Frontier 2. Gun Frontier 1 is a fantastic game. I might actually pop that on next, as that's on this collection as well. I actually prefer Gun Frontier to Metal Black. Incidentally, Gun Frontier and Metal Black actually lead into Borders Down, as they were basically a spiritual successor. Yeah, they're sort of $8. In the UK, they're about £5.70, which is a bit more manageable. I think they should be about 30 quid. The one that got me is the Darius collection, which is absolutely extortionate. It's about 50 quid for a handful of games, and they split it over two. So in total, I think it costs you about 80 quid for both. I mean, the Darius is great games, don't get me wrong, but the collections at present are very overpriced, and I'm disappointed in M2 and Square Enix. They need to be a bit fairer, because the games they've got in them aren't worth. They might be worth full price if they were in one collection, but not two. This is best line for the Sega Saturn version. I can't remember if it's one of the collection version has an issue. I think Elevator Action or one of a couple of the games actually do have bugs with this collection. They didn't set up some of the stuff quite right, unfortunately. As I mentioned, they're also this collection is based on MAME. This is literally MAME on a disc with a few tweaks here and there. It's slightly better. The Japanese stuff was slightly better than MAME at the time, but the Xbox One is literally MAME on a disc. I should say MAME under license on a disc. MAME, of course, being the... Basically, MAME, of course, is the arcade emulation project that I believe is basically... Although it was initially done as a sort of fan brew thing, and there were sort of course, legality issues with it, I believe because it's a #1 source these days, I think quite a few publishers actually use it and back it, because basically without MAME, many arcade games would have been lost to time already. It's how a lot of these games we have been able to add them to collections, and I've already died once. Yeah, you can't focus the beam in this one, can you? I don't think you can adjust the controls in this collection. I really I like Metal Black, but I prefer Gun Frontier. But I do the music for Metal Black's really, really good. I think a dreadful start as well. I can tell you now the music isn't quite right either. I do quite enjoy Metal Black, but I will be honest, I do prefer Elevator Action and well, strangely, the music reminds me a bit of Terra Enigma, actually. Not having a good run in the slightest at present. But yeah, in point of view, I probably prefer the other two games you mentioned, Arako, to this one. Borders Down, which was done as a spiritual successor, I absolutely adore. That is a fantastic shooter. It's just a shame G-Rev have never re-released it outside of the original Dreamcast printing, which is just madness on their part. You're one of the best horizontal, probably actually one of the, possibly even the pinnacle of the genre in horizontal shooters, and they've never reissued it. It's just madness. Yeah, so this collection isn't actually quite perfect, that's for sure. Yeah, I think the beam can't be focused, which was the... I think it's only focused because they've basically got... I think they had auto fire set on. Yeah, because you have to tap it. Yeah, I think they've basically got auto fire set on. Now, next time he does that beam, I can actually counter it with my beam for fun. You see it sort of counter, which is quite... I do miss the fact that bosses used to change colour when they were near death. Yeah, that's what they've done. They put rapid fire on this one. That's why the beam doesn't work correctly. Oh no, there's the... it's not gone in... Yeah, it's gone into the... Yeah, it is really weird the fact Borders Down has never been reissued. I think the PS2 version is slightly better emulation because it was done by a Japanese studio, but neither has perfect emulation. It's the sort of mini-game mode. But you've got an absolute great selection of games. It's a shame that Taito haven't done another collection of their arcade games like this. I mean, this is something like 39 games on it, so... It's definitely a fast and frantic shooter. Okay, just bear with me a second, guys. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, and back. Apologies for that. Oh. Lesson number 1, don't unpause it when you're not quite ready. This one's actually... I do quite like Metal Black. I said it's not... I prefer Gun Frontier. Downside with this collection is, again, it's got linear filter, which is sort of a standard for main, which I detest because it blurs everything, and it's not... Now, TVs did have an interpollination effect, but whenever I see these linear filters, they don't get the interpollination on TVs correct, or basically the scan line sort of way it filters. These never get it right. They just tend to blur it too much, because actually high-end TVs had next to no blur on the CRT, which is what a lot of people don't realise. A lot of these collections have really rubbish options and filters that don't reflect what a high-end CRT would actually do and look like. I have a feeling you might be able to stop it normally. Yeah, I think basically they put on auto fire, which might be the issue with some of the weapons. Oh. Oh, there's some terrible gaming from me there. Well, to be honest, I'm actually a little bit... This time of night, often I can get a bit tired, so then I'm not on my top game, so to speak. Oh, we've got incoming. Can I grab that before? Yes. Do you get some crazy enemies with some of these Taito games? We literally have a moon for a boss. It's not a Toriko. If you look at Wikipedia, it's GameFAQs is wrong. It was Mineloader for the PS2 version, and it was because this version uses a totally different interface to the Xbox version. Because Taito was so appalled with how the first PS2 Western collection turned out, they gave it to Mineloader, who'd done all the Japanese Taito collections. So yeah, don't always trust GameFAQs, double check your resources. Wikipedia lists Mineloader, and I've done my research and it's Mineloader for the PS2 version. Do double check stuff, GameFAQs isn't always correct. Nearly got this boss. Although I would say double check anything on Wiki as well, but I know this was done by a different developer because they use a different interface. Because if you look at the Xbox version of this, it has the same interface as the first game on PS1, whereas this PS2, whereas this is a totally different interface. This uses the same as what the Japanese collections use. Because they didn't, for some reason, Taito did a number of collections for this in Japan and never released them in the West, which is just absurd. Instead, they let Empire do the first one and then got their developer to stick a few different games after the first one. Didn't turn out that well. Had quite a good start at this boss and then it fell apart. Stab it back at this end. And there he goes. Yeah, I should warn some of the lighting effects are... Yeah, I think it's Mineloader that did all the Japanese collections as well. Yeah, I should always say none of these games I wouldn't recommend gaming channels for anyone with photo synthesis disorders. Yeah, no, you always have to double check. Wiki and GameFAQs are handy reservoirs, but both tend to have quite a lot of mistakes. So, but I know it's Mineloader did this one, or it's basically the Japanese developer that did the. It might not even be Mineloader. I need to double check it's who did the Japanese collections, but it's the same developer that did the Japanese collections did this second collection on PS2. They didn't. The Xbox Empire Oxford did the first one on PS2 in the West. And they did it on Xbox. I think Taito didn't really care about the Xbox, but apparently they were quite appalled by the quality of the first. Yeah, there's 4 Taito collections in Japan. They basically have everything on the 2 that were released in the West and a ton more games. And get the vast majority of their library. I think I'm going to give that a break there on this one and jump to... I'll jump to the first game. I really, really like Gun Frontier. It's actually a game I've been able to 1 credit clear as well. In the past, I should stress, it's been a while since I played it, but Gun Frontier is a really fantastic game. My only gripe is the fact the final boss is literally a sort of random shot that if you don't get it right, you instantly lose. Yeah, probably if it says Taito, I think what it actually means is it was called Shadow Developed, because there's a lot of Shadow Developed games these days. I have a suspicion it was Mineloader for all of them. Because often when they say Taito, it's like Capcom Shadow developed a lot of their games, and people don't realise that. There's a great resource actually called the GRDI. I think it's GRDI. Yeah, GDRI, Games Developer Research Institute. If I type in Mineloader. This is slightly... Mineloader software, there we go. Yeah, Mineloader on the GDRI, which is the Games Developers Research Institute list, all the Japanese collections and the PS2 version of Taito Legends too. So Taito Memories Gekan, Taito Memories Gekan 2, Taito Memories Jokan, Taito Memories 2 Jokan, and they did Taito Memories Pocket 1. The Tales of Fantasia, Tomb Raider Legends, question mark? Special thanks in Resistance 3. They're a proper Shadow developer. I did see they claim to have worked on loads of King of Fighters Maximum Impact, Mad Max, Metal Slug, question mark? There must be a port, or the 3D one. Ratchet and Clank, Awful 1, Samurai Showdown, Anthology. Did Wonderbook, Book of Spells. They're actually credited in Final Fantasy. They show Final Fantasy VII Remake, actually. Yeah, there's a great site. It's called the Games Developer Research Institute, or GDRI, and I highly recommend it. In fact, I'll just link to it in the comments. They're actually a really great site for a lot of the obscure development on games, because there are a lot of what they call shadow developers. Yeah, you can't... I've got aspect ratio turned on, so what they call... They know them as shadow developers. Basically, in Japan, you have a lot of developers who work on games who don't take credit for their work, and instead will pass themselves off. They'll let Taito or Capcom or Square Enix, so they're either outsourcing agencies. Oh really? It didn't that I didn't know, Araka. So you actually imported a PAL one and it plays on the Xbox. The music is really good for this, but I can definitely tell the music's not quite right in this collection. Yeah, there are a couple of cases. There are a couple of Region 3 games. I've got for a few Region 3 Xbox 360 games. I've got a couple of Xbox games, Japanese ones, but none of those ones are Region 3. So I'm going to have to get... you can mod the Xbox to make it to Region 3, though. This is a real classic shoot 'em up. I love the Saturn's version. But the Saturn's version is pretty much just a straight arcade port. I think the resolution... This is one of those arcade shmups before everything got obsessed with bullet hell shooters, so you know where you don't have bullets going all over the screen every second, which is probably why a lot of shooter fans have abandoned the genre, actually. The cave games aren't actually... They're nice enough, they're not great though. Oh, I didn't realise it was only Europe only on Xbox. Yes, you notice the main cannon actually reloads, which is quite a nice touch. Ah, it's just got me. And there it blows. On to the next stage. Yeah, this is a really well balanced, put together shooter. Now, I didn't actually say that, Eric. I didn't realise that the Xbox collection was only released in Europe for the Taito Legends 2. I do have bombs as well. I should have actually deployed one thing. The music for this is absolutely fantastic for the time. This is like 1990, so this is a relatively this is a really early arcade game with just top quality stuff from Taito. It's a real shame Taito had a real fall from grace, partly because they didn't port their games to the home market, which is just, I mean, they were just a fantastic arcade developer during the 80s. Their heyday was probably the 80s and 80s and early 90s. I think once you got to the mid 90s they were just falling behind. And they did develop some absolutely incredibly complex games that just has so much depth for arcade titles, far more so than a lot of because the depth, despite the fact they were relatively simple, they had an awful lot of depth and subtlety too. You just don't see now. Suntuka. I'm not sure who did the music. I'll have to look it up. I'm never actually very good with a lot of game developer names, so it's like. I think I'll do a bit of Puzzle Bobble next. Oh, that's right, this is one of those games where when you die you restart your starting position. So it does punish you, but again, it's not, as I said, it's not a bullet hell, so you don't get loads of bullets everywhere flying. It might be the Darius musician because it does sound similar. It is just a fantastic. This is a really quality shooter because once you learn the enemy formations, you can. It's not. This is not a tough game to one credit clear. It's incredibly well designed. So it's not a game that you're going to like a cave shooter where you need to spend months and months practicing. This is a game you can master over a couple of days. It doesn't take long to master. You can, even if you're really good, you can master it in a couple of hours. Actually, it's just a superbly crafted shooter gun frontier. Yeah, you're right. Ninja War. I have a feeling Ninja Warriors might be in one of the Japanese collections. I just love that sequence of the massive ship coming out of the waterfall. The game uses sort of a Western frontier theme that actually works surprisingly well with the sort of futuristic worlds. It is a truly. This was just Taito at their very pinnacle when it came to games design. And this is long overdue a modern re-release, so hopefully, maybe, perhaps, this will appear in the arcade archives. I must admit, the arcade archives have done some good stuff, but they've been slow getting quite a few games out on the arcade archives. They haven't got as many Taito games as I'd like, definitely. I like the fact you can just this Radiant Silvergun obviously reused the fact you could, because in this one you can literally blow almost everything off the bosses, similar to Radiant Silvergun. In fact, you've got his wing there. It's just literally letting us treat. Yeah, I completely agree, Orica. I'm of the same thing. I'm not a fan of those mini collections because those mini collections are a bit. They take. I mean, I've got enough consoles. I'd much rather just play the game on play the games on PS4, and I've just repeated the same mistake there. I guess ships leaking oil when they go. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those mini consoles because, like you say, they block a lot of the games they release on those mini consoles, then don't get released on other formats. It's like Sega released some really great Mega Drive games in their recent mini collection. But strangely, some were region locked to the Japan thing, and yet then they didn't release the collections outside of. So you had the mini collection thing had some games only in Japan, some games only in Europe. And it just felt like it was a bit of a with the mini Mega Drive. Yeah, I mean, it takes up a load of space. You only get a set number of games, so you then you basically have to hack it if you want more. They are sort of weird things, I will admit. I appreciate they're for sort of casual gamers more, but it would be nice if they back up those releases with, like, say, a PS4 collection. I mean, Sega already have a Mega Drive Retro collection. I wish they'd just release games as DLC for it. So that way, if I want to buy additional games, I can. Yes, same here. Although I have now seen sort of official repros and things of Star Fox 2, and I will admit I have seen people with the actual game image as well, sort of emulators, and it's a question of, as much as I really want to play really want to grab a copy of Star Fox 2, I might literally get a repro because Nintendo haven't, although you've only got the SNES release, and it's the SNES Mini is basically, to me, it's a big waste of space. I don't know if it's on the Switch yet. I'd hope the Nintendo have released it on the Switch. If they do, I might grab it on the Switch, as and when we get a Switch. But currently, it's a bit. Nintendo missed a real opportunity with Star Fox 2 in they didn't reissue it on SNES. If they'd reissued it on SNES, they could have charged 60 quid. And you would have had the fans salivating over it. I know I'd have paid 60 quid for a retail official Nintendo printing of it. I think Nintendo wasted a big opportunity because they should have done it with the Mini and also done as a special SNES thing for collectors. Oh, I got pinned in there. I think the Mega Drive Mini had a special version of Darius, didn't it? Or Darius 2? But again, that's just a port. I mean, it's nice they've done that, but that's just a port of an arcade game. It's not like a new wonderful Mega Drive game from Sega. It was just a port of a existing arcade game, and a port that's not going to be as good as the original arcade version. Rather, it's going to be a nice Mega Drive version of it, and it's nice to have. And I keep pressing the wrong buttons. Okay, I think I'll do a bit of Puzzle Bobble next. As this is Puzzle Bobble 2, which I've actually spent some time playing. So about about a month or two back, I actually managed to might have been 2-3 months back now, I managed to 1 credit clear Puzzle Bobble. Oh, they did one for Tetris as well. Gotta know where those big planes come in, and you've got to be ready for them power up. Yeah, it must be the Mega Drive Mini. I mean, it's a tempting offer to grab one, but again, I just look at it and think that's just space and money I could spend on an actual Mega Drive and title. So again, it's like, well, just release. It's like I've already got enough stuff. We've already got enough stuff here, so I think as you get older, you find the space becomes an issue. Okay, I've been bumped off again. Right, I'll swap going. I regard those extras on the Mega Drive Mini more a novelty. They're not like Sega had done an unreleased game, with Star Fox 2 was a real wow factor on those mini collections. So yeah, that was Gun Frontier. Sadly, I think the only home port of Gun Frontier remains. I think it got released on Sega Saturn and PlayStation 1. I don't think there's any other versions yet, unless it was released on any of the old sort of Japanese home PCs. Oh yeah, I've got Liquid Kid. Actually, no, I'll do Liquid Kid. So Attack Jump. This is or Mazbuki Adventures, it was known in Japan. This is a wonderful puzzle platform game. Absolutely wonderful. I think this might be out on Arcade Archives, but don't quote me. So Liquid Kid's over here, Mazbuki Adventures in Japan. The Saturn's version's called Mazbuki Adventures. The Saviour Hypopo. If you've never played this game, you're in for a treat. And this was it 1990 or 91. This just looks absolutely stunning. The game for the era. So basically, this is you basically whack them with water bubbles, freeze them, and then you fling them. Basically, the enemies spawn via sort of fire. So we basically have the theme of fire v water. Go in. I think this is kind of like does have some similarities to New Zealand Story. It's like an unofficial follow-up. I think this was after New Zealand Story. Oh, that was a power-up. I'm not going to grab that on some. But if you've never played this game is absolutely wonderful. Yeah, just about any Taito port now is getting rather expensive, sadly. The Saturn's version, again, will set you back an awful lot these days, sadly. And the thing is, the Saturn version with its pinprick shark RGBs looks slightly better than this version, although I should say currently on MAME you will get a better experience as well than this collection. And I think it might be on... Let me just double check. I'm just going to check it. So I think you can water the plants, which is another cool... I mean, this is just a really... I think this might be... I mean, I'm just going to check. Yeah, she's been kidnapped by the villain. Let me just check. Is this on Arcade Archives? I mean, Taito really were the masters of making platform games for arcade titles that had a lot of in-depth gameplay to them. Okay, I think it might actually be out on... Okay, so it's actually been announced. Currently 8 games on arcade have been announced for the upcoming releases below. New releases, if any, were announced yet. So basically, yeah, they've had a couple of games where they announced them and we're still waiting on quite a few. But 2 of them announced that were coming to the Arcade Archives. One was Raiden, and one of them is also Liquid Kids, which is supposedly... Oh, Gekirindan as well, which is on this collection, and Darwin 4078. Yeah, there were a couple of games that were announced a little while back that haven't since yet been released. So there was some... A couple of people got a bit annoyed with the Arcade Archives and Hamster because they announced a load of games and then they haven't released them yet. They've been releasing other titles. There's also some weirdness where you can get some games on Switch and not on other platforms. The European version of the Arcade Archives on PS4 is behind the North American one. There are a couple of games that for some reason haven't been ported, haven't been released yet. I think there's either PEGI rages or it's... I think basically they've just not had the space to release them, Sony of Europe, so they've been delayed. But yeah, Liquid Kids has been announced, but apparently isn't out yet, so it is coming to Arcade Archives, we're just not sure when. Okay, I think this is the first boss. I think this might be on PS1 as well. Okay, there's one of the bosses for Liquid Kids taken out. I'll see how far I can get on 1 credit. This is actually a game where if you're even half decent at platformers, you can actually get pretty... And you get to pick which way you go through the game as well, so... There's some subtle replay as well. So yeah, it's a really well put together game. You'll see, I think I've got to use the water to move the thing along, haven't I? Yeah. Some great mechanics, and this was just Taito at their very best during the 90s. Having basically learned everything they could from the 80s. I think once the mid-90s came, Taito's big mistake was they didn't port a lot of their games to their own... They didn't port a lot of their games to home systems. They concentrated on the arcade market. I think they felt the arcade market would still be around in the long term. And unfortunately, that was a huge mistake. Because of course, as we know, the arcade market has slowly and surely, steadily decreased over there. Oh, I can actually get it. Rescued another one of our friends. Oh, I do love that. He's got the water rings as well. Yeah, I mean, this really is a game. If you've never played it, I do highly recommend it. This collection is well worth grabbing. Just the Taito Legends 2 collection is a very good collection in terms of just the games you get, because, okay, the emulation is not as solid as it could be. And if you just grab them on MAME now, you'll get better emulation. But I should say you should always grab a copy of the game, support the developers where you can. Square Enix now have most of, or that's like Square Enix bought up Taito, so. But sadly, Square Enix haven't done too much. There is a Darius collection, which is very nice on PS4 and Nintendo Switch, but oh, so I've actually got a tricky bit here. First stage is actually giving me a bit of grief. I just lost all my lives on this section. Oh. I'll give it a second run. Just put A. Yeah, just put A. I won't be keeping this save file. So we can get past this section. I'll see if I can get to the second, beat the second boss, and then I'll probably change game again. I want to keep as I said, there's about 30 games on this collection, so I want to keep mixing it up, keeping it fresh. I think it's a warp, isn't it? That's the thing, you get things like hidden warps. There's so much just depth to... Oh, it's Kiwi from New Zealand Story. The outline is that. Oh, wonderful stuff. So that outliner says Kiwi from the New Zealand Story. Oh. So Taito really were the masters of sort of subtle references and just adding so much in the way of sort of hidden extras. The depth they added into platform games like Rainbow Island and Puzzle Bobble, I don't think have ever been surpassed. Even games like Mario and Sonic don't have the depth these games did. These games have so much sort of hidden intricacies and just little bonus features and extras. They just all worked so well together. And it just struck me, a lot of the characters in this character here, the actual Hi Popo, he reminds me of Waddle Dee a bit with how he looks. Okay, the face design's different, but I was thinking that, I thought, well, a lot of these characters remind me of Kirby. Oh, okay. Okay, and I'll change games there. I will show off Elevator Action Arako. I think I'll show it after. I'll show Puzzle Bobble 2 and then I'll do a bit of Elevator Action Returns. I'll only do like the first stage, or I'll see how far I get on 1 credit on Elevator Action Returns, seeing as I've previously done a Sega Saturn stream of Elevator Action Returns, and at some point I should do a full playthrough. So yes, there is a Sega Saturn stream we did a little while back, and I will at some point do a playthrough on the channel as well. So let's do Puzzle Bobble, seeing as this is such a... This is Puzzle Bobble 2, again, fantastic title. The whole series of Puzzle Bobble is fantastic, but I think 2 is definitely one of the most complete ones. Certainly the Saturn's version on 2 had a ton of additional content. Very simplistic, one button, just literally pop bubbles and chain combos. And I'll also say thanks to everyone who's hit that like button on the stream. It is very much appreciated. Glad to see you're enjoying our content as always. It does help with the channel and the videos as well, because the more likes it gets, the more chance YouTube will recommend it to our other subscribers, so to speak, and followers, or just push it out there. So let's go. Push one. So I'm going to do the puzzle games now. The Saturn's version, interestingly, there's actually 2 arcade revisions of Puzzle Bobble, and the Saturn's version actually includes both, which is quite nice. PS1 version didn't, which is something a lot of people don't realise. So the aim is to try and actually get as big a score as possible. So if I actually wanted to do that, I would actually try and drop. So I want to get the yellow, I want to get a ball up to the yellow there. Okay, so now if I want to go for a score, I'll just literally hit this till I can do this. And that gives me a massive drop score. So on this one, I think I'll do that. Oh. There's also a time score as well. I'll do that, and then straighten up and do that. I've actually got pretty good at this the last about a couple of months. I've actually been playing this, so I've understood the mechanics more. It's one of those games I always struggled originally, so if I just hit the red one, and away we go with the big drop score. I mean, the cost of this collection alone is probably cheaper still, because it's not an expensive collection to buy, than most of the games would cost you independently. Okay, can I... Oh, missed out on that shot. Yep. Not going for a big score on that one. I just want to try and... There's a case of you have to judge between going for scores and trying to clear the stages. So some stages it's easy to guess where you can find the break points, and others it's probably better just to get the score. So on this one, I think... Yeah, I need to work on the score. And more particularly, I need to work on clearing the... If I do that, I'll take those ones. So if I need to clear the centre actually. Right. I think that's right. Yes, that's what I wanted to do. Okay, this is an interesting one. Might not be a great idea, that shot. Okay, I might have put myself in a spot of bother here. Yes, I have put myself in a spot of bother. Yes, I put myself in quite a lot of bother. An awful lot of bother. Yeah, the puzzles do slightly change, and if you use a credit you get the guideline back for the next match, so what I do is do that. Though you are slightly at the mercy of the there's a slight random nature to it. The game also clearly knows what bubbles you have and will sometimes deliberately give you every colour you don't want, and I've seen that having spent enough time playing it. The game does it deliberately from time to time, so you have to be prepared for that. You can spot patterns appearing of how you get the... so if I do that, I'll get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. So yeah, that's a pro tip. Do keep an eye out. The game will... I can do... let's do D. Let's keep with the centre path. Okay, so can I be... I'll do that one. I'll see how far I can get in this one, and then I'll swap to... Oh, there's actually... So, yeah, this one... Does take a bit of practice to get used to roughly where the balls are going to go. So this one, actually getting rid of the blue might not be a bad idea. That will weaken the chain. Basically what you want to do is weaken the chain. So yeah. When I do that, that will weaken that chain. Okay, here's the... Yes, that's what I wanted. Okay, that was a really bad decision, my placement of the other one. I need to wipe that. Pop that there. Pop that on that yellow. Now if I get this just up a bit, yes, gotcha. Okay, that was a good shot. So, no, probably about there. So my shooting skills, I'm getting a bit tired, and I was thinking my shooting skills are just about holding up. You basically get a feel, you almost basically get, once you played this enough, you'll get a feel for roughly where the balls are going to land. Basically, you can almost see the cursor. You might not quite get it right every time, but you might get it more often than you think once you have a bit of practice. Only recently I've actually done this. Previously I used to use some pretty terrible tactics for playing this, and I was doing the caravan challenges on the arcade archive. Oh, that was a bad shot. Okay, right, let's rectify the situation by getting rid of that one. So I actually got an issue where that red is blocking the clean shot, so I don't really want to. It's a bit risky doing that. Oh. Oh, that was really bad. Okay. Okay, that's what I want. Right, can I get this through there? I don't think I can. No. Now I can, okay, so now I got a clean shot to. In fact, I might as well be a bit cheeky and just build up a huge event till. Oh, shot it in the wrong place. I can do that and cash out all the bubbles. Oh, there's a flip of that other one, so again short. Okay, that's not too good. Okay, that's not very good at all. Might have just full barred myself. Yeah, I think I have full barred myself. Round 14. I'll just finish this stage and then I'll swap to elevator actions. There's still quite a lot of games on this collection that I haven't yet shown tonight. I'm not going to be able to show them all. There is so many. To give each game a decent run, it would probably take about 5 hours. But yeah, you can make some very ninja shots when you have the guideline. Or at least have the confidence to make them without making mistakes. I'm actually getting really rubbish balls this time round. I don't think I'm going to do this one. I'm going to need an absolute... Right, this I need, yeah. Okay, let's change game. That was actually quite a tricky one. I should have tried to knock them off at the top a bit earlier. Never mind, only a quick snippet, but they are very good game, the Puzzle Bobbles. I do recommend all of them, or Bust a Move as they were known, weirdly. Let's just do... So Elevator Action is not a correct ROM image, so there are actually issues. So I'm just going to do... Watch this, so shoot to jump. Now, I previously showed the Saturn's version. The Saturn's version does look a lot sharper with the fact that this is using a veneer filter, but it's still a very good version. It's certainly cheaper than buying the Saturn version, but you'll notice there's just a black... Yeah, so there you get the emergency. That's actually missing in some versions of main emergency, but you also had issues with the lights not turning off when you shoot them. I think that was in this version as well, sadly, because basically this is based on a dump. I think this was based on a main dump where they don't actually have the images. Because Taito, I don't think most of the arcade dumps have come from external parties, not Taito or any of the main developers. But it is a superb action game, as I showed before. And great cheats as well on the Saturn's version. Like interesting extras, including the original game. I don't think the original game was on this collection. I think it was on the first one. In Japan, they're on different collections, so yeah. Oh yes, the lights are working. I think it was something like the lights don't... In the Xbox version, if you do that, you don't get... I think there's an issue with the machine gun button because they... Technically, in its truest form, this is slightly better than the Saturn's one because this is the actual arcade game, whereas the Saturn's version is a port, but it's not a one-to-one port. Yeah, I think this one, the machine gun, doesn't quite work properly. It should fire rapidly. The main version they've had, I think that for years they've had issues where the lights wouldn't turn, when you shoot the lights they don't go dark and things like that. But it is a superb shooter if you've never played it before, and as I showcased it before, it is just a fantastic game. I didn't actually quite finish it on the stream before. A little exit sign as well. Oh, I've got to get to... Ooh. Oh. Grenade was a separate button. Shoot jump. Okay, yep, it's a jump and attack together. Throw the grenades. But yes, as an alternative way to play elevator action, even though it's not quite perfect, this is a solid go. This is a solid version. Yeah, the Xbox version has all the main bugs, so you don't get the emergency flash, and when you shot the lights, you didn't get the lights turning off. I think main subsequently updated its emulation of this game. But I think again, this game's got so much depth to it. That was a rather unfortunate way to go, for him at least. Appreciate all the likes from everyone as well. Very much thank you for your support on today's stream. You have to run through here on time. Yes, the rapid fire machine gun isn't quite right in this version. And finally that's them all gone. Then the 2D artwork in this was absolutely just jaw-dropping. You don't see a lot of many indie-inspired games with visuals this good. Okie dokie, that's everything I'm going to show of Elevator Action. I was hoping to get for a second stage, but seeing as I've previously done a stream before, I'm not going to show too much of it. But that's, you get a rough idea of the state it's in this collection. It's not bad. It's certainly better than the Xbox version. It's still a little bit... it's not perfect. It is a game that I think needs a bit more TLC from the gaming community in large. Actually, Elevator Action Returns would be great if it got a reissue as well. But I think the biggest issue actually prohibiting it is, I believe, that it's still registered. If I even... Oh, hi guys. Software Agent. Okay, so your comments have all suddenly just shot in there. I seem to have had a bit of a blank period. It's like the stream hasn't updated for I don't know how long. Thank you, Software Agent TV. Yeah, apologies. I've just seen your comments. Oh, you sound like I just had like 9 comments suddenly shoot in. So, good to chat to you. And reached Japanese PS2 and someone recently. Some of these collections as well. Got them running on my computer. Returns with some sprite display issues in emulator. Yeah, it's because I think A, the emulation's not very good, and B, I think there's issues with it not being properly emulated. I'm going to do Dungeon Magic because this is quite an interesting one. So hey, Software Agent TV, thanks for dropping by. Apologies guys, all your comments just suddenly... I was going to say I had a quiet period when no one was commenting, and then all of a sudden it's just gone pow, where suddenly like 15 comments have appeared. Yeah, there's actually 4 games in the Xbox version, Araka, that aren't in the PS2 release. So I think you get Crisis or RayStorm or I think you get Layer Sections 1 and Bubble Memories 2, Bubble Symphony. I think Bubble Symphony's on the Xbox version. Right, let me just double check. So Legends 2. So yeah, Xbox. So PS2 got Balloon Bomber, Civilian. Xbox and PC actually. There's a PC release got Kadash. PS2, they got RayForce, Bubble Symphony on Xbox. So the Xbox one was Kadash, RayForce, Bubble Symphony, and Pop and Pop. Whereas the PlayStation version is G-Darius, RayStorm, Civilian, and Balloon Bomber. This one is a mix of sort of scrolling beat-up hack test. Reminds you a bit of Dungeons and Dragons. It kind of tries to do what Capcom did, but it's just not quite as polished. But it's a really interesting game. The concept of this is really interesting, and it's kind of similar to what they did with Capcom did with D&D. But this just does it a bit more. This is just a bit more rougher around the edges, I think. I think Capcom just did it a bit better. But it would have been, this I think could have been a really nice one if it got a sequel. I seem to recall the frame rate on this one is a little bit ropey. Just check game description. So, action jump. By gaining hit points. I see, so there's hidden items as well. Go a bit careful. Oh, that's actually hurry up. Okay. But appreciate the likes. Thank you everyone who's liking this video. Much appreciated. Help me. Yep, we've got to rescue the princess. Bit of English there. I have no time for you. The problem is the hurry-up system goes a bit against the explore system, so... And because obviously I didn't rush the early section, these guys are now chasing me. I do have special moves as well, it would appear. Okay, so we can see which way we're headed. Yeah, this one does have some frame rate issues on the PS2, I seem to recall. I'll play for a bit, but it's definitely one... It's a really solid game, but I think the PS2 version is not the best version of it. But yeah, it's not quite as good as Dungeons & Dragons. It's got the right idea. Okay, I couldn't see, but he's giving me a sword. A spear. Yeah, you get some... That's annoying, you get items that are one time only. XP up. Okay, so smashing the statue gives me some XP. It looks like there might be a secret room next to the inn. Or was. Sadly, you can't go back in this, so... But yes, appreciate all the likes from everyone. Okay, that's... no idea what I did there. What's that? Might have been the super attack. Okay, thanks for joining Software Age. Okay, guys, are you seeing the stream okay? I'm getting the feedback at my end's a bit weird. It's cutting out. I'm losing the stream feed, so Dark Seal Gate. So yeah, there's a couple. So apologies, guys. I haven't been able to commenting. The feed's dropping out at my end, so hopefully you guys aren't having delays in the stream. Do let me know if there's any issues with the stream not showing stuff after review. I don't know why that is. Can only hope it's a connection issue. Yeah, especially in isometric. You said it's an isometric beat 'em up. Oh. Yeah, it's quite an interesting idea. It's sort of ahead of its time, I think.
You just powered up.
Ah, so I've actually powered up my gauntlets coming this way. I can't jump up to those items. I want to get to that ring. Obviously not this character. Yes, apologies. Thanks for dropping by, Software Agents TV. Apologies, I can't see. I've been having some delays in the stream, so.
You just powered up.
So you'll jump up there, jump. Iron shield. Ah, I've got a shield. Oh, so you can take a crossbow or the iron shield. Let's take the crossbow. XP up, some hidden gold. There's a difference worth exploring this one. That was the way I came. Can I smash any of the other doors? Yes, apologies for not replying to a couple of your messages. Also, MAME still has sprite issues, so this has a better version of elevator action. I know they slightly, the machine gun, there's some issues with it not quite working properly in the PS2 version of elevator action, but, oh, we got a switch there.
Just powered up.
See, so we've freed that guy, and I've got a. That's the thing, you get one-time throw items. Can I? Oh, I can. You can close, reuse switches. And... So there's definitely explorability in this one. It's definitely got some nice ideas, Dungeon Magic. I said the frame rate is not ideal in this one.
You just powered up.
Got Thunderclaw. Oh, I could have gone through the waterfall earlier. Okay, I think this is the boss, isn't it?
Just powered up.
Yeah, this is the thing with the isometric it is actually quite hard to work out where I need to. So something like this, I think just get to fly kick it, or nope, don't want to do that. Don't want to be dinner again. Let's see, we like eat the frogs and then it doesn't like the frogs.
You just powered up.
Okay, we've got the boss, but you see the frame rate here is really struggling on this one. The actual idea behind it is really nice. I see the XP. So is this a bonus boss? Problem is that the items like disappear really quickly, and you see there, I've got some serious frame rate issues in this. Play for a bit longer and then I'll swap game again. I'll be finishing in the not too distant future, guys. This is definitely one I would say you want to try on another format. I think the Xbox version was slightly better, but this has, I don't think Dungeon Magic's been released on anything in years. In recent years, sadly. Yeah, so also we've got we are the Doomguard. So here we go, the Doomguard. And smash the stone figures. Do you think the arcade has slowed down? Yeah, I have to try the arcade. But I think this one seems to have way too much slowdown for what should be. Admittedly though, oh, there's a chest up the top there. Can I reach that? Ah, I should have jumped on the other chest. So there are quite a lot of secrets in this. This is one that I think a reissue. You do get a lot of secrets and extras. So yeah, don't just smash everything as I've done. I've missed out on an upgrade there. So we've beaten the sub-boss. We haven't actually got to the main stage boss yet. So yeah, it's definitely got some nice ideas, Dungeon Magic. But as I said, the frame rate is less than ideal. I must admit, I don't think I ever saw the arcade game for this, that I will say. I actually wish items remained on screen a bit longer as well. They disappear too quickly. Does remind me of all the old. This is one of those Taito games that showed that you could do some interesting things with arcade. This is what Taito did. They did do some very unconventional games. Admittedly, Dungeons and Dragons copies a lot of this in terms of the exploration and upgrades, but Capcom do it a lot more slicker. And the music's absolutely fantastic. I think Dungeons and Dragons is just a much better package overall. Music, everything. Yeah, the frame rate's just variating wildly. Okay, so smashing those things decides which door will and won't open. I'm not actually going the explorative route, I'm going the more direct way to the boss. That's quite cool. Oh, so we can take... I stand on this. When was Kadash? Was that before or after Wonder Boy and Monsterland? Because Wonder Boy and Monsterland's a close contender as well for sort of action platformer slash RPG. Okay, so here we go. I'm a room guarder. Elements, no, you have to be very careful with how you implement them as well. It's generally just a sort of experience thing, which is how Taito did it and how they did it with Dungeons and Dragons. You can't. I think Kadash, is that the one where you can actually chat to people in town and stuff, which is quite actually a slow pace. Should really spend some more time with Dungeon Magic because it is a really interesting game. Yeah, I mean, I suspect Wonder Boy and Monsterland may be borrowing something else, but technically it's Weststone as well, so here we go with the boss. Yeah, they're English for the... I thought he said we must stop at nothing. Yeah, I've definitely played Kadash in the past. I vaguely remember what title when we sort of chatted to people in town. I mean, Dungeon Magic's actually, what you're seeing here is a really interesting game. But it's just the frame rate, it definitely struggles a bit. And it's... So if I do... So I'd probably just do that punch a lot of the time. Or just avoid his sword. He's not actually that hard to fight, he's just... Oh, he's thrown me there. I say as he takes me down. But yeah, have I had any drops in signal? Because I noticed I've had issues where the comments have been very delayed for some reason. Well, thank you to everyone who's been on stream. Thank you to everyone who's hit the like button as well. It is very much appreciated. Okay, right, let's get this boss out of the way. I'll swap game. Oh, it got released on Mega Drive, Kadash. There are... I know that a lot of the Taito games did get... The early ones did get released on Mega Drive. Looking at Star Cruiser today on Mega Drive as well. That's another one I should try and grab at some point. Yeah, that looks like a slight bug. Yes, you get hit points to level ups. Completed scenario 1. Go to next scenario. Let's get the... No, we want all the... Okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know. Fall into the hands of the monsters. Okay, I will finish a look at Dungeon Magic there. But that's an interesting game. It really is one worth actually having a play with. So what haven't we looked at? Got Grid Seeker, Super Space Invaders, Gun Frontier. All football champs, seeing as it's the Euros. Shoot. Button A is shoot, button B is pass. Kick, throw, slide, tackle, rough. Football champ, which also is part of the... I believe this is actually the first game in the Hat-Trick Hero series, so... Rare I actually play football games, but Euro football champ, but I do... Kick off! But I do like the Hat-Trick Hero series, so... We did previously cover the Saturn one on our channel as well. It's actually a very good arcade game. And I'll beat England, my home country. I think this is a super player. Let's go with this. Got slightly crazy anime eyes, haven't they? It's like rough players, it was like punching one another. Oh! Yeah, there's quite a few games in the Hat-Trick Hero series, so... I haven't actually got any of the SNES ones, I will admit. We got the Saturn's one. Which is actually the only home game we have, so... But I do know there was at least 2 on the SNES, so... Oh, oh! Oh, foul! I need... yeah, it's talking about rough play. I need the guy in the face. That'd be a red card these days. And yet Euro 2020 starts tomorrow, so... Or 2020, a delayed 2020. It's Euro 2021 now. Oh, come on. That's supposed to be a strike. To charge down the power. The strikes are not... don't seem to have much power to them. Yeah, I didn't actually get a goal, so... They didn't go to extra time or penalties or anything. It's just straight up score or... Oh, come on! Come on, guys! You never tell this arcade route by the fact you literally have set time to score before. Yeah, we used to play this one back when I was a youngster, so this is like one of the few football games I actually used to like. I'm sure there was a version of it called Italian 90, so... Yes! Keeper doesn't stay down for long. Yeah, I'm not sure what it was called in Europe. I think it got a European release. There are lots of SNES games that got European releases that we didn't actually get here in the UK. So although they got PAL releases, we didn't actually get them in the UK to buy. Oh, a player got in the way there. 9 seconds though. I've got this in the bag. Oh yes, they got the ref.
Game set. Kick off.
This is also going to be my... I think this will be my last game tonight. This takes us to the 2-hour mark, so I think I'll finish streaming after this. So thank you all for joining in tonight's stream. Ooh. This one was called Euro. The ROM image they had for this game was called Euro Football Champ as well. So for the arcade one. So obviously that was the arcade name in Europe, and for the SNES name. But yeah, I do prefer Hat Trick Hero. It makes sense. The name. So I'm currently trying to play through Operation Wolf at the minute on... we haven't actually done a run of that, and I would like to actually see what it's like these days, seeing as it's one of those games that's been badly emulated. I've also done a video of Starblade, and I think the Starblade one will be out tomorrow, you'll be pleased to know. So I'll get Operation Wolf. Just got to record, finish trying successfully. Oh! That's some bad defending by me. But yeah, we've got a Starblade video coming, and hopefully an Operation Wolf one, but I'm trying to one credit clear Operation Wolf, and it's rather difficult. To actually get... Oh. Could have been an equaliser, but the problem is an equaliser in this doesn't matter. You still lose if it's a draw. Yeah, it's as much as it says much better catch a hat trick hero, because it makes it hat trick as in scoring 3 goals. So it's 12 seconds. Can one of us get the win? Get up the end of the pitch. Come on, come on, let's go. Let's go. Oh.
Game set.
Okie dokie, I'm going to finish that there. Okay, everyone, thank you for watching. My name has been Random Gamer Riven, and this has been the randomized gaming stream. No, Operation Wolf is technically not actually a light gun game. It's actually just a joystick that moved it, basically like a crosshair that moved it up, down, left and right, but you just couldn't see that crosshair on screen. So that's how the game actually worked to control it. It was just a joystick that moved a cursor around the screen, but you couldn't see the cursor. But yeah, there's no version that supports the light guns. Because Operation Wolf itself isn't actually a light gun game. They'd actually had to... they'd actually have to rebuild the game to support light guns. Nor is Operation Thunderbolt, because the collection includes Operation... just return to main menu. The collection actually includes Operation Wolf. The Taito Legends collection, that's the first one. The Western one actually includes Operation Wolf and its sequel, Operation Thunderbolt. There's also a third game in the series just called Operation Wolf 3, but that was a bit bland. And strangely, that felt more like a sequel to Lethal Enforcers, which was a bit odd. So I wondered if that had been done as a sort of Lethal Enforcers follow-up, and Konami had said no, and then Taito published it under the Operation Wolf name. So just look how there's actually a lot of games we didn't get to go around. So we got like Super Space Invaders. I didn't meant to do that, but time. Darius Gaiden as well. Probably didn't show off G-Darius as well. RayStorm. So yes, this is actually a great collection. If you want to spend, really get to appreciate some of Taito's classics, I do recommend Taito's Legends 1 and 2. Certainly is that it's still quite difficult to actually get Taito games, because after they did these collections, they don't think that, aside from the recent Arcade Archive releases, there really hasn't been many retro re-releases of any of the old Taito games. So I do recommend them. But that's it from me. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for all hitting that like button. Very much appreciated, everyone. Certainly does help us here at the channel. Thank you all for your support here at Randomised Gaming. Have a great weekend. I will be off, hopefully. So I said we've got a Starblade video coming and an Operation Wolf 1, if I can actually finish Operation Wolf on 1 credit. Because it's a game that's meant to actually be beaten on 1 credit, but it's surprisingly tough. But thank you. It's been a while since I've actually beaten it. And it's one of those games that when you beat it once, like years ago, and you try again, like, oh. But I'm getting there. I've got to the last stage. I just haven't quite finished it. But thank you all for watching. Thank you to Araka for being on stream with me, chatting away. Very much appreciated, as always, bub. Thank you to Software Agents TV as well, dropping by. Very much appreciated. So that's it from me for this week. I'll be back next week. Not sure what I'm going to be streaming next week. Something. I might do some SNES stuff, I'm not sure. I'll have a think. Maybe one of these days I'll dig out something like the Amiga, but another minute. But thank you all for watching. Thank you to Arakath for being, I said, on stream. So he's been here all the stream. Thank you again. So that's it from me. Have a good weekend, everyone. Please do keep out our upcoming videos. As I said, Starblade will be coming out over the weekend. Probably tomorrow. I might try and get out tomorrow, and maybe Operation Wolf over the weekend if I can finish it. If not, it'll probably be Monday or Tuesday. And then we've got a few other videos planned as well that I need to get working on. So thank you all for your support as always, and I'll see you all bright and early, or same time next week. That is 21:30 GMT, so 9:30 PM time, Greenwich Mean Time here in the UK. I should adjust that. We're actually on British Summer Time at the minute now. I need to adjust that. We're not on GMT. We are on British Summer Time. Okay, I need to correct that. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next week.